Hello and welcome to this edition of TMA's Farm Margin Talk. This is Devin Schierling, Grain Marketing Manager for TMA. So as I finish this week's Farm Margin Talk, I wish I understood a little bit more about technology, and I would show the webcam of me actually sitting in my office on the opening weekend of the NCAA tournament on Friday at about 4:46 p.m. And for those of you who don't believe me, I am actually here in the office bringing this farm margin report to you. So as we look at our profitability for March the 16th, 2012, once again, we had a lot of ups and a lot of downs throughout the week, but once again, we ended on the upside. We're going to talk about that weekly change in profitability here in a little bit, but as a snapshot for 2012 and 2013, profitability remains high in almost all crops. So as we look at that information, this just gets you down to how we come up with those numbers once again. On more of a micro level, assuming new crop cash prices at Groveland, Kansas, and this is putting it in a bushels per acre perspective. So as you can see, those extra bushels available to sell over cost have increased on all of our commodities over the last couple of weeks. So to look at our change for the week, we had prices move anywhere from, corn moved 14 cents on the week, but the overall change in profitability was more significant than that. We had a $26 an acre improvement on irrigated corn and a $12 an acre improvement on dryland corn. So now when we're looking at our profitability being upwards of $110 an acre on dryland corn, those are real numbers and good levels for a lot of producers to be at least looking at locking in some sort of a minimum profitability per acre going into this volatile time of USDA reports and really into the growing season that really matters, putting the crop in the ground, worrying about freeze issues, and then the continued development of that plant. Soybeans didn't see as big of a jump this week, but once again did show an increase, and wheat also made an impressive rebound from previous weeks. So to look at more of a longer-term picture on dryland soybeans, this is assuming a 30 bushel dryland bean crop, and you can see over here in the far right-hand side the sharp rally we've seen the last couple of weeks to put us over $100, actually $106 an acre of profitability. Looking back over time, we're right back up to those highs that we saw only a couple other times since the year 2000. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at making your farm's decisions. And then to kind of show growing conditions on corn. So this is an irrigated corn chart, and that black line on there shows us kind of what's going on right now. We're entering that time that we talked about of real growing condition concerns, people positioning in front of the planting intentions report on March the 31st. So the big question mark there is, where do we go from here? You can see the blue line shows you in 2011 where we went from this report. We had a strong dip down, and then we rallied back up off of growing conditions. So we'll see what the future holds, but it's a good way to look back over time and looking at several different years of history on irrigated corn. Now, if only grain marketing and profitability was easy as this thermometer that I found a lovely picture of on the internet, life would be like easy peasy lemon squeezy. Because if you look at this, it would tell us exactly what we need to do to prepare ourselves. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. So last week I talked about the March 1st report that came out on the Palmer Drought Index. And sometimes you have to bring your own party with you, because if you look at the report that was updated for March the 15th, for most of us here in Kansas, it was a wonderful report to see green, which doesn't mean we're out of a drought, but means we're improving. And that's the first time we've seen a major change like that in quite some time. So what's causing this market to move here? One is continued weather concerns. What's going to happen about a potential wheat freeze, with wheat being probably 2 weeks ahead of schedule in majority part of Kansas, with probably 40% of our crop approaching that jointing stage throughout the territory. Improving U.S. economies and creating some additional demand, and then world and currencies. How's the dollar going to continue to affect and cause us to be more or less in the market when it comes to moving some of our grains out of this country. So with that being said, for more additional information, feel free to contact your grain marketing or crop insurance specialist. Thank you. Enjoy the basketball and have a great weekend.